out who it was. So here we are, 30 years later, they're doing the same thing to John that they did to Leonard Peltier. The way they got Leonard Peltier out of Canada was they busted a young woman a young single mother on Pine Ridge Reservation, Myrtle Poorbear. Maybe some of you know her story. Myrtle Poorbear was an absolutely innocent single mother. She had a lot of emotional problems. She was just a poor woman trying to take care of her children. The FBI arrested her. They held her in a hotel room. They browbeat her. They intimidated her. They threatened her. They showed her pictures of dead Anna Mae and told her she was going to end up the same way if she didn't sign these phony, goofy affidavits, which she eventually signed 3 separate affidavits, all different, all conflicting, just so the FBI could decide later which one they wanted to use. And she claimed that Leonard had confessed this crime to her. Of course, later, once, and Canada, and this is the thing that really, I think each of us in Canada, we have to understand, our government is playing along with these people. Our government is allowing this to happen. And our courts, and our media, our entire society is allowing this to happen. And they dragged Leonard Peltier out of Canada on these trumped-up phony charges. And later, in a court in the United States, Myrtle Poorbear came forward in a court in the United States and told her whole story and told how they had intimidated her and threatened her and made her sign this stuff, and none of it was true. And now look, they're doing the same thing to John. One of the witnesses is dead. One of the witnesses claims he never said this stuff, and they made it up. He didn't say any of this, and he's not going to testify against John. They got another witness who they dragged off the street in Denver and intimidated him and gave him alcohol and heroin and dragged another confession out of him. If they tried to, if the government of Canada tried to do that to you or me here in Canada, none of these cases wouldn't have a chance in the courts.
Well, they're starting to do that here too.
Yeah, well, they're starting to do that here too. But the fact is that the United States can come up here with a bunch of trumped up, made up bullshit and drag one of our citizens and our neighbor and our friend, John Graham, down to the United States for another phony, goofy trial. It's just an absolute horror show.
It's not funny.
And, there aren't that many of us here tonight, but we're here. And each one of you is very important that you're here. And, believe me, when Greenpeace started, it was smaller than this. A small group of people can do a lot. And so the one thing I'd like to ask you, please, a couple of things I'd like to ask you to do. If you have any resources, money, friends, legal resources, anything that you can give to the John Graham Defense Committee, please help out. John needs some support. They're going to have to pay for a lawyer, travel, telephone. I mean, it's a huge project that they have to undertake. And they are undertaking it on our behalf for all of us who are Canadians. Because if the United States can come up here and make up evidence against John Graham and Leonard Peltier and haul them down there and throw them in prison, then they can do it to me, and they can do it to you, and they can do it to anybody. So John Graham is our hero, and he's carrying the load for all of us, and he's fighting this fight for all of us. So anything you can do to help, please help. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.